Hi everyone, my name is Matthew LaPine, and I am the Artistic Director of Rise Up Chorus, and I am thrilled to be making this announcement today. We are returning to in-person singing after just over a year of our efforts being completely virtual. We are so excited to gather together again to return to singing in person. And I want to walk you through that today. So the rest of this video is a walkthrough of what you can expect with our in-person singing, what it will look like, what is the science and the research that is guiding our decision to return to in-person singing, and then how will we come out on the other side. So our plan is going to be fivefold. We'll set the stage, we'll talk about health and safety, what will rehearsals look like, what will performances look like, and the agreements that we make to each other. So let's start by setting the stage. We have been through so much in the last 12 months, but we haven't stopped. We have only missed one rehearsal back on that Friday the 13th, March 13th, 2020, when the world seemed to be still. That was the only rehearsal that we missed. We have not missed a single rehearsal since then. We've tried so many new things. Some have been very successful and others less so, and we understand that and we know that, but we've learned from it. And now that health protocols have finally been codified for singers, we're basing all of our plans on science, on research, and on guidance from the CDC and the New Jersey Department of Health. So a year ago, we created a task force to monitor the COVID-19 pandemic as it relates to in-person singing, and our very own events manager, Angela Dole, who has led that task force and done a brilliant job with it. We followed the science from the very first day, and we've watched it evolve. Much of the science that we are basing this on didn't exist a year ago. It's a newly evolved science. So let's talk health and safety, because this is the most important part for all of us. What have we learned about aerosol transmission in the last year? More than we could have ever wanted to know. We took some of the data from the Colorado study and to look at what is the concentration of aerosols coming from certain vocalists. And when you look here in the middle section, here's the mouse here, we look at a soprano singer along with a standard deviation and a baritone singer. But the important thing is the gray shows the aerosol production without a mask. But look what happens with a mask, how much it changes. So unmasked to masked. This next slide really outlines that point a little bit even better. For a baritone singer, which already had a slightly lower aerosol production than a soprano singer, it was 79% efficacy wearing a mask. The aerosol transmission was reduced 79%, but for a soprano singer, it was reduced 98%, which makes it negligible. But the five main takeaways from the recent studies are that everyone must wear a mask, everyone must follow the minimum 6-foot guidance as that's left and right and front and back as recommended by the CDC. Now, the time has just recently changed. The guidance had been 30 minutes of rehearsing at a time. Now for outdoors, it's saying 60 minutes before the need to change air. That changed yesterday, which was March 19th. But you'll see what our plan is, and we are going to stick to our plan, especially in the beginning. Outdoors is best for airflow, and of course, hygiene. Now, a lot of that refers to instrumentalists, but hygiene is important, keeping ourselves clean, hands clean, and making sure that we disinfect any surfaces. One of the most important things is that your mask is well-fitting. You need to make sure that there is a seal around your mask all the way around. On the sides, make sure there are no gaps, especially at the top around your nose. Make sure that the wire there is really pressing in so that air doesn't escape. Case in point, if you've ever worn a mask with glasses on and your glasses fog up, you know that there's a gap in your mask. So it's not creating a perfect seal. So we need to make sure there's a perfect seal all the way around. And we'll talk about masks a little bit later. So just continuing on with health and safety for a bit. As of March 19th, New Jersey's current limit for outdoor gatherings is 50 people. That's the maximum that can gather outdoors for a rehearsal, for example. Now, a performance is 150 people, but for an outdoor gathering of just a typical rehearsal, the maximum is 50 people. A well-fitting mask must be worn at all times, and there are no exceptions to this. Social distancing guidelines must be followed. Again, no exceptions to this. The choral singing guidelines is that right now there would be 30 minutes of singing followed by a break of silence, no vocalization, for one complete air exchange in the room. In an outdoor scenario, because that's what our plan is, it involves an outdoor scenario, we will sing for 30 minutes, break for 5 minutes without talking, without using our voice whatsoever, and then sing for a final 30-minute session. So we're looking at 30 on, 5 break, 30 on. The new guidance is suggesting we can sing for 60 minutes outdoors, then take a 5-minute break and then resume. But we are going to stick to the 30-minute guidance for now. So what will our rehearsals look like? We will have outdoor rehearsals with a live stream for those who can't come or are not yet comfortable meeting in person. We will have socially distanced markings on the ground so you know exactly where to stand and where not to stand. Hand sanitizer will be available and required to be used on the way in and on the way out of rehearsals. If you need to sit, we ask that you bring your own chair, but many will opt to stand for the duration of the rehearsal. Masks must be worn at all times. You cannot take off your mask for any reason at any time. You will receive paper copies of music, but you must always bring your own copy. There will be no sharing, and we will not be giving out temporary copies if you forget one like we have in the past. And there will be no sharing pencils. You must bring your own pencil. Or if we give you a Rise Up Chorus pencil, you just need to keep that pencil. We can't take it back. We will be taking pictures or videos to document attendance for contact tracing purposes. And I'll talk about contact tracing in just a second. Everyone must register specifically for outdoor rehearsing through a provided link. So even if you've already registered to sing with us, we need to register separately because there will be some provisions in place that you need to agree to in order to join us in person. And this is super exciting. We are still working on a final agreement and we hope to have that worked out in the next couple of weeks. But the plan is that we will be rehearsing in the Pearl Street parking deck in Metuchen on the 5th floor, which is the highest covered floor. For those of you coming to rehearsal, we've rearranged the rehearsal times a bit to make sure that you have totally free parking, so there's no charge to come into the parking deck. There's plenty of room to socially distance the maximum 50 people at 12 by 12 feet. So what we are doing is instead of the 6 feet left and right and front and back that is required by the CDC, we are going to double that to make you feel more comfortable. And we are looking at 12 feet left and right and 12 feet not just in front of you, but 12 feet in front and 6 feet over so that people are at a zigzag all the way through. So you will never have someone directly in front of you or directly behind you, even at 12 feet. The parking deck is great because electricity is always available for the piano, the camera, the microphone, so we can continue to live stream rehearsals. As I said, bring a lawn chair if you will need to sit during any part of rehearsal. And the neat thing about parking decks is they are designed to move air. They are designed to have maximum airflow because they need to prevent any type of carbon monoxide buildup from cars idling in the parking deck. So we have a very, very safe, exciting location worked out for our rehearsals. For those who are looking for the live stream, you might be wondering why we'll still live stream. There are some that are still uncomfortable rehearsing in person. Maybe you would like to wait until you're fully vaccinated, and we understand that is completely your prerogative. Or if you're not feeling well that day. If you exhibit any possible symptoms or symptoms that could be of concern to the other members of the chorus, we ask that you don't come to rehearsal, that you log into the live stream and watch it and participate that way. The only downside is there's no bathroom available in the parking garage for us to use, but we are working on this and we will have a plan in place by the time rehearsals begin. So this is a picture of just a corner. We'll have more space than this even, but right here we can easily fit 25 to 30 people, socially distanced at 12 feet, just in this one corner of the parking deck. And as you can see, there are 3 walls right there, boom, 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 that are completely open. So we have maximum airflow, and the 4th wall is open. It just leads to more parking deck, the next level up, which is outside, or the next level down. And here's the parking deck from the other side. I'll drag my mouse over here for a second. You see these cones that are blocking the outside here? Well, they will continue and they will put cones up here so no cars can come through. So we don't have to worry about any traffic. This part of the parking deck will be blocked off at all times to reserve just for Rise Up Chorus rehearsals. This is very exciting to us. And you can park right in this area over here where you see these cars now. We are looking to start 1 month from now on April 23rd, 2021. That is so exciting because the date is near. And I know for all of us, we've been working on this for over a year now. We are so excited that it can finally come back to being in person again. Our youth chorus will be rehearsing from 5:15. So instead of 5 o'clock, this will allow you to enter the garage after 5 o'clock to get the free parking, but we ask that parents stay for the duration of rehearsal, at least for the first several rehearsals until we decide otherwise. But we ask that at least one parent stay for the duration of the rehearsal for safety. And the adult chorus 7 to 8:05. If you notice that unusual time of 1 hour and 5 minutes for rehearsal, we're doing the 30 minutes of singing, followed by 5 minutes of no vocalization, followed by 30 minutes of singing. Now, we may choose to increase our rehearsal time after the first few weeks if we are all in agreement and more comfortable, but we'll play it by ear. We need to do this for a couple of weeks first and live this new schedule and this new experience before we commit to extending it. Performances. We are currently working toward a stream performance of Healing, Beauty, and Hope, and we are going to continue to work toward a stream performance. We are not ready to commit to an in-person performance, say in June. All of a sudden, the COVID cases in New Jersey spike, the governor makes decisions to lower the in-person cap, and then our entire performance is down the tube. We'd rather plan for a virtual performance that is recorded together in person. And that's what we're going to be doing. We've already recorded some audio, and the youth chorus has recorded some video already toward this performance, and we will be using that, but we will also be incorporating live recordings of the group together. All solos and duets for this performance will be recorded live and in person just to ensure consistency within the audio and video quality. So this might be the most important part. We have created a covenant for in-person activities document that outlines a promise that Rise Up Chorus is making to you, a promise that you are making to Rise Up Chorus, and a promise that you are making to each other. And I want to just take a minute and walk you through this. So we created this in order to mitigate any spread, any transmission of COVID-19 within our rehearsals. So what is our responsibility to you? Rise Up Chorus as an organization will always prioritize your health and safety above all else. We already prioritize community above everything else. Now we're adding a new layer on top of that. And health and safety has become even more important because without health and safety, our community cannot gather and be together. So we are prioritizing health and safety. We will enforce all of the agreements in here. And there is no room for gray area. It is black and white. We are requiring that all of you use hand sanitizer that we will provide on the way into rehearsal and on the way out of rehearsal. We will limit the number of singers on site at any given time. Right now, the limit is 50 people total. We are providing a traffic flow through the space to accommodate physical distancing. Since we are in an outdoor space, it's a little bit different, but in terms of traffic, cars, there will be no cars coming through, and in terms of people walking in and out, you'll be going to the check-in table, staying socially distanced, of course, and then going right to your assigned singing spot. We will adjust the length of rehearsals, as we've already discussed, to allow for a pause, to allow aerosols to disperse. Based on the most recent guidance, as I said, that guidance just changed yesterday, but we are not ready to move to it because it does loosen the regulations a bit. If it were to tighten the regulations, then we would follow that immediately. But since it's loosening, we're not ready to jump to that yet. We have implemented a contact tracing system to notify people about any exposure. And you have a responsibility. If for some reason you have been at rehearsal and you test positive for COVID-19, you need to reach out to us immediately. And Angela is your contact person. We are providing ways for singers who miss an in-person activity to be part of the rehearsal either in real time through the live stream or the live stream which is recorded and it will be put on our website or in Google Drive for you to access. And we will always follow CDC and NJDOH guidance in terms of contact tracing and local Department of Health guidance, but Rise Up Chorus will maintain confidentiality. Your responsibility is this. You will wear an appropriate mask at all times. I use the Resonant Singer's mask, and I have it linked in this document. And by the way, this entire slide presentation and this document are available on our website. The mask must, as I said before, everything must be covered and there must be no gaps anywhere throughout the mask, and it should fit tightly and snug around. It must have 2 or more layers. No single layer masks are at all allowed, no gaiters, and no face shields alone. If you'd like to wear a face shield in addition to a mask, you may, but it is not encouraged. If you need to remove your mask for any reason, you may not do so in the rehearsal space. You must go to your vehicle, close the door, and remove your mask there. You must maintain a physical distancing of 6 feet or more at all times. When we're singing, like I told you before, we're shooting for 12 feet. Not shooting, we will have 12 feet. But in terms of just when you're first coming and greeting each other, please stay at least 6 feet apart. And stay home from in-person activities when you're ill or displaying symptoms that could cause concern and raise anxiety among other members. You know, even if you know this is your allergy season and you're sneezing because of allergies, that could cause concern for another member. We ask that you stay home. Even though you know it's allergies, the people around you, it might make them nervous. So out of respect for them, this is a promise that you must be making to each other. And as is typical, if you're exhibiting any of these symptoms, fever, cough, shortness of breath, chills, headache, muscle pain, sore throat, loss of taste or smell, nausea or vomiting or diarrhea, we ask that you stay home and join us virtually. If you've had close contact with someone who's tested positive and you're told you need to quarantine, that includes not coming to our rehearsals. You'll need to isolate after testing positive and follow all current CDC recommendations. And before every rehearsal, we ask that you do your own self-check. We are not monitoring temperature. We ask that you do that. Is your temperature 100 or higher, or has it been today? Do you have a new or a worsening cough? Do you have trouble breathing that is not part of asthma? Right? These are all questions you need to ask yourself. And if you answer yes to any of these questions, you may not come to the rehearsal that day. You may attend virtually. And of course, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Our contact information is there. You can reach out to me, Matthew LaPine. You may reach out to the head of our COVID-19 task force, Angela Dole, if you have any questions. And again, our emails are linked on our website. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. I hope that you are as excited as we are to return to in-person singing. This is a very exciting time in Rise Up Chorus's short existence, and we know that coming together to make music is going to be so meaningful for every single one of us. I hope you choose to join us. Thank you.